Hey, how's it going, everybody? Now, since you liked my other videos where I talked about stereotypes about Germany, stereotypes about America, and especially what Americans think about Germany when they come here, and also the other way around, I thought it would be a great idea to actually do another video of these. Now, I found this YouTuber. Her name's Zoe Marie. I hope I pronounce it correctly. I've never seen her videos before, but I saw its title and was like, well, perfect. This is German culture shocks as an American. So I assume that she is, based on also the background of this video, she's actually living in Germany. And well, there's definitely a lot of culture shocks here, that's for sure. And I always say, if you go from the States to here, it's sort of a downgrade in almost everything. So let's check it out, and I'll give you my take on it. Let's do this.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be some Germany culture shocks which I experienced while living in Germany. So I have 13.
I don't know where she lives though, by the way. I have no idea. So, because obviously Germany is different also in different kind of states. In case you don't know where I live in Hessen, or Hesse in English, which is pretty much, it's Frankfurt. It's pretty much center, southish.
Differences that I found while living in Germany. And before we actually start this video, I do want to put a disclaimer on the screen that these are all my experiences. These are things that I've experienced while living in Germany. It might be different from your experience, but of course I'm just saying what I experienced. So just a disclaimer. So let's jump right into the video with the first difference that I found while living in Germany.
She's going to talk about some restrictions I already know. I bet.
So I'm going to start with something typical. I'm sure everyone has heard this if you go across YouTube, but the first thing obviously that an American would notice while living in Germany is that everything is closed on Sundays. Jeez. You cannot go grocery shopping, you cannot go to the mall. Everything is literally closed, and this was super hard.
Only restaurants, I believe, and museums are open on Sundays. But really, here's the thing. It's not like in the US where typically things are open even on Sundays and you have work on Sundays. Pretty much 99% of people have the day off on Sundays. But the problem is you can't do anything on that day because everything's closed. Like, what are you supposed to do? Take a walk every Sunday?
Hard for me to adjust to in the beginning because randomly I would like to go grocery shopping on a Sunday, or you just forget something and it happens to be a Sunday and you want to get something, but things are closed here on Sundays, so you cannot actually go out and get anything, but restaurants are open, so you can go to a restaurant. Okay, so the second thing which I've noticed, which I think is a little bit of a culture shock for me as a New Yorker, is the fact
New York. I actually have been, let's go back for a moment.
That
I've actually been to New York myself, and here's a fun fact about New York. It's not okay. Actually, it's not a fun fact. It's more like a sad fact if those things exist. I was in both the West Coast and East Coast for some time. So I was in New York, but I also was on the complete opposite, like LA, for example, right, or California. New York, no shit, feels like Germany, just with more options. The people, the atmosphere, the mood, the rudeness, it's all the same, literally. And also Taco Bell workers still hate me.
A little bit of a culture shock for me as a New Yorker is the fact that everyone here really follows the rules. And this is not a bad thing, okay? I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. One example of that is when people are crossing the road. Again, I'm from New York, and people just cross the road. If it's free, if we see no cars, we're just gonna cross the road. But in Germany, if the crossing road sign is not on green, they're not gonna cross the road. And just an
I still do it, and people hate seeing it.
Example of how intense people really follow this rule. I lived in this really small town a few years back, and it was about, I don't know, 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I was going to pick up my sister from the train station. And I was walking there, and there's no cars on the road. Absolutely zero cars on the road. It's too early, there's nobody around. And people were still waiting at the crosswalk for the crosswalk sign to turn green. It is literally...
It's so ingrained in people here to this God. Sometimes you literally see people yelling at each other because they didn't wait. Or it's like, you know how typically before it turns green, there's a sort of gap in between the it turning red for the cars and it turning green for you. But I always start walking when it's red for them. I don't wait for the green symbol. What's the point? I don't have the time for that.
Really like that. So the next thing that I want to talk about as a culture shock is definitely the recycling. Recycling is taken very seriously here. In most homes that I've been to in Germany, they have different boxes for different things like paper, like bio, plastic. There's also a water box. There's so many things for recycling. Again,
yeah, that's annoying, but I thought she was talking about the if you've ever been to Germany, there's actually a system in place for bottles, how you can bring back bottles.
And this is something that's
for almost every bottle, with exception for, I think there's 3 different categories. There's, in German we call it Pfand, which is basically nothing more than money you pay up front. It's so bad. It's money that you pay up front. So let's say you buy something for 99 cents here, then it's a plastic bottle. Then it adds, it will not just cost 99 cents, it will cost €1.24, so 25 cents added. You'll get that money back. Here's the thing, you'll get that money back, but here's the thing, even though you can, once you turn it in, you can only use it at that specific place. Like you get a sort of a credit for it a little bit, like money. But it also forces you to take it back. But if you have low cash flow, if you don't have a lot of money, then really, I mean, 25 cents per bottle, it adds up quickly, believe me.
That's really good and we should all be doing it, but it is a huge culture shock coming from America because I've never really seen someone have multiple boxes for recycling, obviously for plastic and things like that, but in America it's normally that you put everything in one bin, which is not very good, and it's a huge difference here. And I have another experience about this where people really go hard for their recycling, which is fine. In my last apartment, I've actually had an old German couple, like I was throwing out my trash and they checked my trash to make sure that
old people here, seriously, wait, if you think old people have too much time in your country,
it was recycled properly. Literally went into the trash and was like, so is this recycled properly? And it was.
And it would
but they just wanted to make sure because they can obviously tell that I'm a foreigner. So they were.
It's not that they wanted to make sure, they just want to get at you. That's the thing, they want to talk shit. That's literally what it is.
Checking my trash. The next culture shock, which I find a little bit, hardcore as an American living in Germany, is definitely the see and the do formalities that they have here. For example, if you're in the office, you're always saying see to people that you don't know or just managers or supervisors or whatever, and you have to then ask them if it's okay. If you're friendly enough with each other, you can ask them if you can use the informal version of you, so see basically means you. You can use the informal version of do if you know them properly. And for me, this was a big culture shock, also learning the language that you always have to change between which type of you that you have to use, and then it also comes with different conjugations, which is just a little bit different because we don't have this in America. I think the closest thing you could say is we have Mr. and Mrs., I suppose, but with the actual word you in America, we call everyone just you. There's no formal you, there's no informal you, it's just you.
What is it, by the way, Mrs.? Is that like when you're engaged and then actually married? Is that actually 2 different from like Miss, you're engaged, Mrs. is when you're finally married? Is that it? My American friends, let me know.
Next culture shock, which I've noticed in Germany when I used to take the bus, if, for example, a pregnant woman would come into the bus or an old person would come into the bus, it's just natural that someone would get up immediately to give their seat away. And in New York, I have not seen that ever.
I rarely ever see it here as well. But then again, for this, you'd really need to live in a city where the bus is just packed all the time. Granted, I live in a big city, but the bus is never, unless it's 8 a.m. in the morning, it's never packed to the absolute max to where you actually need to do that.
Never seen it. I'm sure it happens, but I've never seen it. But I've noticed on every single bus that I've been on, people always get up for the old people or the pregnant women and make way for them to sit down. The next culture shock which I found while living in Germany is the smoking situation. In Germany, I could also say this is maybe a European type of...
It's interesting, the first 5 that you already named, that's something a lot of Americans notice similar things when it comes to this, 100%. So it seems to, what this means is it's very obvious
thing, but it's a huge culture shock for me because everybody is smoking. Literally everybody is smoking. I'm seeing like kids outside smoking, and I feel like it's not as looked down upon as it is in New York, per se, or America to be a smoker, but here everyone is smoking. To my next point, which is...
I actually don't know how many... Let's Google this, guys. Fucking someone actually commented the other day that I think it was her, said that she likes looking up stuff, or when I look up stuff during the videos. Well, appreciate that, because we're all here to learn something, I guess, and enjoy ourselves. So, how many people smoke in Germany? I can tell you it's a lot. Germany, smoke or have smoked in their life. Let's see. According to a 24.5%. So one in four people smoke here. It's crazy. And even since here among the 18 to 25 age group, 35% are smoking. And still over 85, or still over 75, 8% smoke. It seems to be a very high though. Like 20, but still too high.
Is the tipping in Germany. So what I've noticed is that in Germany, obviously you don't tip as much as you tip in America. Tipping in America is a must do. You cannot go to a restaurant and not tip the waiters. And
sure you can.
Nice amount of money, you know, because they're making most of their money from tips. And so in Germany, when you do go to tip, I mean, necessarily, I guess you don't have to, which is what I've been told. You don't actually have to because they're making their normal wage. But when I've seen people tip, they're mostly tipping to round the bill up to like an even number. For example, if the bill is 23.5 euros, then people will tip, okay, let's just give you 26. For example. So that's what I've noticed. Tipping is not a big thing here in Germany as it is in America. So this next one, it could just be limited to the area that I'm living in, but I find that it's like wine country. So a lot of people are drinking a lot of wine. So there's just wine everywhere. I guess the main reason for that could just be because
That's new to me.
I'm living in the south of Germany. So the next culture shock that you might find if you come to Germany as an American is the taxes. So there are no taxes in Germany. That's not true. So if you go into the supermarket, for example, and you want to buy a stick of chocolate, for example, it will cost you 2 euros. And when you go to check out, you pay 2 euros. It's not like the tax is not included and you have to pay 2 euros and 5 cents. No, the tax is already included in the chocolate, so when you go out to check out, you just have to pay that price that you have seen, which I really, really like, because in America, you go, you see the item without the tax, and I don't know why we don't just include the tax within the product and then just pay for it with the tax included.
Probably because the price is going to be different in every state, especially if you have this. I mean, the sales tax, right, is gonna be different in every state. So you would have to have the base price adjust to the amount. I mean, also, doesn't it change? Doesn't it change every now and then? The sales tax in the state, not much. It doesn't go up like fucking 5% or 10% by at once. But let's say you want to each make, let's say you have 10% here and 10% increase, 10% sales tax, 15, I don't know, sometimes it's 3, I have no idea. How much is it, guys, on average, by the way, in your state that you're from, the sales tax? You would have to, if you want to sell it for the same price in every state, you have to adjust the base price of it without the tax to then, or make it go equal, or equal as much. But they don't, I guess.
included. So the next thing has to do with the Autobahn and the fast driving. Normally if you hear German, you just obviously think about fast cars, Mercedes, etc., etc. And I did not really think that they would be driving as fast as they say in the movies or as fast as the stereotype is, but they're actually driving that fast on the Autobahn. But what's crazy about it is they're driving fast and they're driving safe, which is a little bit weird. So in America, obviously you have your speed limit and obviously, you know, people are always breaking the speed limit. But here, the speed limit is already so fast and in some places there is no speed limit. So they're actually going extraordinarily fast. And as a new driver, I've been driving in Germany for a year now. Compared to driving in New York, it is just so fast. My little car is literally...
Well, but I mean, New York is much more crowded. So, I mean, yes, you might have 7 lanes at once, but they're all so crowded, so you can't even drive so fast. By the way, here's the thing. With people driving safer, yes, I would 100% say that German drivers are better than US drivers. That's just for sure. You get so much more training. Now, granted, not every teacher is the same. For example, me, I had a horrible teacher when I was doing my driving school. I did end up failing my theory and my theoretical exam and my practical exam once. Here's the thing about me. When I had my practical exam that day, I was supposed to have it at 6 a.m. in the morning. It was 6 a.m. in the morning. It was foggy outside. I was super fucking sick. And the day that I woke up, when I had the test, I actually had I couldn't turn my head properly. Like I had a neck, whatever what it is. You know, let me know what word I'm looking for here. But you do pay so much for a driver's license here in Germany, which is just insane. I mean, it's just ridiculously overpriced. I think every time I drove with an instructor, it really cost about 100 euros. I think 100 euros. I ended up paying, I believe, for that includes the failed tests, like the repeated failed tests on both sides. I ended up paying like 2,200 euros. Something like that. 2,200 euros. I don't know how much that is in dollars. Most likely like $2,400, something like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous. And then you don't even have a car afterwards. You don't even have a car. And with the Autobahn, it's true. The fastest I've ever gone in a car, I didn't drive it myself, a friend of mine did, was I think 150 miles. That should be around 250 kilometers per hour in an old BMW. That's how fast I did. But you definitely see a lot less. There are so many more restrictions also with cars, how much you're allowed to drive, whatnot. If you want me to do a video about that, or you just have any questions about stuff like this, just post them in the comments and I'll collect them and make a video about that at some point. Yeah, it's just ridiculously overpriced. And here's the thing, the theoretical exam as well. If you did the theoretical exam here in Germany, the practical one is also more difficult than the States by far, but that's just how it is. And I mean, the instructors I had, the instructors even tell you, like the people, there's your instructor sitting in the car, and then there's also the guy sitting in the car who's actually judging how you drive. And I had a piece of shit, and instructor, let's call him instructor, I guess, or judge, and he even told me, if you get in an accident and it's not your fault, like someone could literally T-bone you, okay, and it's not your fault. If you get an accident and it's not your fault, you're still not gonna pass the exam or get your money back or get another try. So you still have to pay the money and you failed. That's how much of the piece of shit they are. And then the theoretical exam, I know in the States you pretty much have like 50 to 150 questions max, and then you get like asked 10 of them, but they're so scripted, they're always the same. In Germany, I had to study 1,200 questions. I think 1,200 questions, and out of those 1,200 questions, I think I had 30 questions I had to answer. 30 random questions out of 1,200.
Vibrating as I'm staying on the right side. It's literally vibrating as these fast cars are just zooming by my little car. And when I mean that they're driving fast and driving safe, well, first of all, when you go to take your driving license here in Germany, you have to go through a lot of processes to actually get your license. I can only speak for New York. Unlike in New York, I felt that it was very, very easy. There's not a lot of questions to study for in the theoretical, but here in Germany, I had to take everything all over again, so theoretical and practical, to get my German driver's license. And it was very, very, very difficult. I failed the theoretical twice. It was like over 1,000 questions that you actually have to study for and know to pass this test. And the practical was also, you know, you really have to know the road and know the signs. And that's what I mean by that it's a lot safer.
Even here's something else that my instructor do. My instructor, if someone didn't tell me that the instructor was gonna basically let you drive, because he basically tells you, he tells you where to drive, right? He sits in the back. If no one had told me that he was gonna lead you in this one specific road, then I would have failed again. This guy literally put you he led you onto a road where it was impossible for you to do the right thing if no one told you before. And that was literally in the first 5 minutes. So this guy just collects the money. This guy just thinks, I'm gonna fucking like not let him pass again. What he's gonna do, they do this on purpose. They let you drive onto a road, onto a specific street or something like that, where they know it's not your fault if you make a mistake. But like I said, as I said before, they don't care about it. So literally, it was impossible for me to do the right thing. The only reason I did the right thing is because someone told me before what I had to do. Can you believe that? He was probably in awe himself. He was like, what the fuck? How does this guy know what to do?
I feel, because people study a lot longer and a lot harder to take the German driving test. And also there's one thing which I like about the German Autobahn is that you cannot, overtake on the right side. So if you're driving and you want to overtake the car that you're behind, you have to go to the left and then go in front of him. You cannot overtake on the right side. That is illegal. So the next thing has to do with coupons. So as an American with a mom who was a hardcore coupon clipper, in Germany there's no such thing as like big savings coupons.
True.
For example, in New York, my mom, she used to cut a lot of coupons for the supermarket. We have a big family, so she would cut a lot of coupons, and we would go to the supermarket. We would have like a big cart of food and big cart of stuff, and when we would go to check out, she would be going through all her coupons, and you can mix and match and do whatever, and in the end we would pay pennies for a full cart of food because of all the coupons she had. And the coupons also extend to beauty products, CVS. But in Germany, I find that there is not this coupon culture. You cannot save a lot of money at the supermarket with a bunch of coupons.
True that.
It's just not a thing, and I've never seen it. If it is a thing, please do let me know. If there are coupon clippers in Germany, let me know, because coupons really do help. And for me personally, I love coupons. I'm a big saver. So that's why this was a real culture shock for me, because I like to save money on things. So the last thing that I want to talk about has to do with the German supermarkets. And this is a huge culture shock for me, because shopping at a supermarket for me is
being rushed to pack your groceries. True. If you ever go to, Aldi, for example. I think Aldi is the absolute worst when it comes to that. Because they literally have no counter where you can actually put the stuff after they scan it. Literally, you have to put it straight into a bag. That's why I fucking hate Aldi.
A leisure type of fun thing that you do, and you get your stuff and then you just leave. In Germany, it is calming when you go to pick out your stuff. It's a nice supermarket, you pick everything up and you're ready to go to the cash register and you're ready to check out. All your stuff is on the belt and you're at the end. And the thing which I found super hard to ingest is that you have to pack your stuff ASAP as soon as the woman or the man at the cash register scans your item, because they leave literally like this much space.
Yeah, fucking Aldi. Do you see what I say here? If you could use your quota at Aldi to get a peppery ride gear for the Urban Morpher checkout, that'd be my favorite store. Exactly, Aldi, like I said.
For your items at the end, which means they do not want you to stay there for a long time. They want you to pack your stuff with some speed. And I'm sure there's some reasoning behind why they do that. Obviously, I guess to move quicker. But for me, it's a huge culture shock because in America, when you go to check out the cash register, it's this huge like runway where all of your groceries go. You pack it at your leisure. There's no rush, there's no anything. No one is looking at you like, why are you taking so long to pack your stuff? It's just a long runway, you take your time. It's 100% different than how it is in America. So look out for that when you're going to go grocery shopping. It's gonna be a little stressful when you're checking out. So that was the end of my culture shocks, which I face in Germany. If any more come to my mind, I will of course make a part 2 of this video. If you have your own culture shocks about living in Germany, if you're from the States or from another country, definitely include that in the comment section.
Well, yeah, guys, definitely go check her out. In case you're interested, I'm going to link the original video down in the description. Definitely go drop it a like as well. I'm going to do that in just a second. Honestly, I agreed with everything. I'm pretty sure. Did I agree? Yeah, I think she was pretty spot on. I'm not gonna lie. Now, since these things are so normal to me, I say, I'm not saying I'm okay with them. I'm just saying they're normal for me. Yeah, it's just what can I say? I mean, sometimes it's just absolutely horrible. Like the driver's license is what always pisses me off when someone mentions that, just because I had such bad experience with that myself. Well, guys, if you want to see more, if you have any questions for me, like I said, put the questions down in the comments. Also, if you want to see me react to some other stuff, or you want me to not only react to some other stuff, but you want to see anything else of what I do, what my life or something like that, well, then just let me know. I'm trying to come up with some new content that I can actually do. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.